Good afternoon and welcome to Match of the Day, and welcome to the Olympic Sports Field here in Adelaide, one of the most picturesque grounds in all of the NSL. And our match today is Adelaide City against Marconi, and with me is Charlie Villani of Adelaide City and Steve Maxwell, the former Adelaide City striker, who of course is now with Marconi. Charlie, bit of an injury problem for you today. Joe Mullen is out and Paul Wild, and you've got a fairly strong team coming to visit you today.
Yeah, that's true, Les. I think the boys that have come in for Joe and Paul will do well. They, out to prove a point, and I think all the boys are raring to go, so it should be a good one.
What about this man, Steve Maxwell? Some scores to settle with him, perhaps?
Well, I think Nev will take care of him. He'll fix him up.
Congratulations, by the way, on getting into the squad, Charlie. That's well done.
Thanks, Les. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Steve, good to be home, no doubt, and perhaps something to show for the former home fans now today.
Yeah, it is good to be home, Les. I'd like to score today, but as long as the boys win, I'll be very happy.
All right, well, good luck to you, Steve, today, and to you, Charlie. I hope it's a good game, both of you. Good luck. Thanks very much for being with us. Johnny Warren is with us as well. Johnny, both boys seem pretty confident there. I don't know whether Adelaide City's problems will be something they can so easily overcome, though.
No, you would think a week ago you'd favour Adelaide City, Australian champions at home, playing well in the earlier rounds, but they've lost Wild and Mullen, and that's a striking duo which is hard to replace. Having said that, of course, Marconi is a team that I favour this year, good mixture of youth and experience. They've now signed McCulloch, a big plus to them. I think Marconi will get something out of the game today.
Do you think Marconi might need another couple of games, though, before they settle into that stride?
Well, perhaps, but I see Adelaide City perhaps at more at a disadvantage today than Marconi.
How's Stevie Maxwell impressed you since he's been with Marconi?
Well, I think it's fair to say Steve hasn't settled in yet. He hasn't been the hit that we all hoped he would be in Sydney. It's very hard to change clubs, particularly cities, for a young player like him. He's a talented player. Obviously, he's going to get there. It's a matter of how quickly he's going to do it, but he hasn't, as yet, produced the goods for Marconi.
OK, now another man to keep an eye on today is Santrac, the midfielder for Adelaide City. He does most of their prompting today, and a man to block out by Marconi, I should think.
Well, it will be interesting to see. I mean, Marconi is ideally built for a very counter-attacking team, particularly with a player like Farina in front. So you would think they'd try to contain them in the middle of the park and to use the combination of Farina and Maxwell in front, particularly Farina because of his speed and his goal-scoring ability.
Zoran Zanatic, Nastevski, sorry. Right. Zlatko Nastevski is a player to watch as well because of those deadly free kicks, so no free kicks to give away.
No, well, he's probably the Maradona, if you like, of Australian soccer. He's deadly just outside the box, so Adelaide City will have to be careful in that respect today.
OK, John, thanks very much. Let's check the lineups of the two teams now with our commentator, Mike Hill.
Well, thank you, Les. And there's the scene here at the Olympic Sports Field in Kennington here in Adelaide. Well, there's the Adelaide City lineup, and as we heard, two important players missing. Joe Mullen and Paul Wild are both out injured. Andy Toland wears the number 14 shirt. He was just signed this week from a club in Perth. Also coming in is Vatsilas, who wears the number 15 shirt for his second NSL appearance. Marconi have made a couple of changes from the side that downed St George last week. Jerry Gomez comes back from suspension, and Nastevski is in wearing the number 10 shirt to replace Carboni. So Marconi coming to this match in 6th position. Adelaide City in 2nd spot. They've taken 3 points from their first 2 matches, a draw last week at Apia, and they started off here in Adelaide with a win. But for Adelaide City today, it's their first truly home game of the season. Their first match was played at the Hindmarsh Stadium, and today they're at home at their own Olympic Sports Field Stadium. The referee today is Stan Sumes, who comes from Melbourne. So a good-sized crowd here in Adelaide for this clash. Over the years, matches between these two teams have been entertaining affairs. And let's hope this afternoon that both teams live up to expectations. Certainly the Adelaide fans are making themselves very much heard. Tremendous home support for the team that wear the black and white stripes. So check of the watches. Zunas gets the game underway. Marconi in the green shirts, the white shorts, kicking from left to right in the first half. Jerry Gomez back from suspension. And now Vidmar. Stopped there by Gomez. Tackle on, Steve Maxwell by Neville Flounders. Referee waves play on. Paul Carter going into the back of Vatsilas. So a free kick for Adelaide City. Free taken by Adrian Santrac. Playmaker in the centre of the field for this Adelaide City side. Teddy Toland, his first touch in NSL soccer. Spread wide there for Charlie Villani. Quite a tussle on that far side with Jerry Gomez. Villani keeps it in. The ball goes out of play. The first goal kick of the afternoon goes to Marconi. Adelaide City, who during the week were knocked out in the first round of the Beach Fashions Cup on a penalty shootout against Sunshine George Cross. Teams were locked at 1-1. The end of full time and the end of extra time. Sunshine George Cross went through on penalties. In fact, Adelaide City missed their first 3 penalties. So I would hope this afternoon they don't get any penalties awarded. Free kick on the far side to Marconi. So this free kick to be taken by Craig Mason. Mason lifting this one in. Way there by Flounders. Now McCulloch. Still McCulloch. This is Farina trying to get that one across. The cross was blocked by Nyskohus. Throw on the far side to Marconi. So a throw taken by Robbie Wheatley. Off the head there of Farina. McCulloch now Lowe. Nastevski. Away by Flounders. Only as far though as Gomez. Turned back inside again by Nastevski. Toland. Vatsilas was the player trying to make the run forward. Beaten there by Wheatley. Now Farina on that far side. Faced by Shillabeer. Farina playing that one in. McCulloch made a good run from deep. Tommy McCulloch there unable to control it. Back with Willie McNally. So Alex Tobin, former Australian Youth International, can bring it out of defence for Adelaide City. Now Santrac. Shillabeer available on that far side. Both sides like him employing the slow build up from the back. This is Flounders. Now Vidmar. Vidmar, who scored a goal last week in that 2-2 draw with Apia. And that came off for Steve Maxwell, so the first corner of the afternoon goes to Adelaide City. Adrian Santrac, the player coming across to take it. Neville Flounders has gone forward to add some height. So Santrac. Right across the face of goal, a free header there by Vidmar, and surely he should have done better. The Marconi defenders there stood like statues, and Vidmar had a free header. Good corner, and Vidmar, completely unmarked, heads it wide. Bob Catlin started his NSL career with Apia. We'll ask some questions there of his defenders. Now Gomez. Villani. Charlie Villani. Now Melta. Sergio Melta getting this one across. In fact, it took a deflection from Tony Henderson, so another corner for Adelaide City. Sergio Melta in the Socceroo train-on squad. Of course, he was one of the Socceroos that toured China at the end of last season. Player who scored Adelaide City's goal in that midweek cup defeat at the hands of Sunshine George Cross. Santrac again with the corner. Neville Flounders doing some pushing. So a free kick. For Marconi to relieve the pressure. Neville Flounders. This is the first match of the season. He was involved in a motorcycle accident. So certainly the home fans will be pleased with the first 5 minutes of play. Seeing their side do most of the attacking. Bobby Catlin spent last year with Manly in the New South Wales States League. As Adelaide City get it forward again, this time tidied up by Tony Henderson. So Catlin again with the long clearance. Nastevski. Now McCulloch. Wait that time from Tobin. Still Tommy McCulloch. Floating this one in. Awkward one for the keeper. Over the head of everybody. Lowe turns and chases. As well to keep it in. Still David Lowe. The cross was blocked by Sergio Melta. Now Farina. Farina, who got his name on the score sheet last week. Carter. Still Paul Carter. That came off with Vatsilas. So the first corner now for Marconi. Paul Carter loves coming forward. Started his career with Apia. Signed for Marconi back in 1983. Been a regular ever since. Nastevski with the corner. Jerry Gomez has gone forward, taking up a position at the far post. This corner comes swinging in. Gomez with a header down. Taken at the second attempt by Willie McNally. Jerry Gomez, so dangerous in those situations. Such a good header of the ball. Carter this time turning up in the left back spot. Now Mason. Gomez. Nastevski. Playing that one forward. Nobody there for Marconi. Off the head there of Mason. Now McCulloch. Back to Mason. Probably Wheatley. Played as a sweeper last season. Now gone back to his familiar full-back role. That was a good crossing. Nastevski trying to play that one back. Nobody following through. No problems there for Tobin. And now Charlie Villani. Vatsilas is the only player forward. Still Villani. Now Nyskohus. Flounders. Wheatley was in there quickly. Lowe on the far side. Now Wheatley. Mason. Mason again. Adelaide City with plenty of players back. Maxwell. Mason. Mason tried to play that one into the path of David Lowe. It all breaks down. This is Andy Toland. Melta's available on the far side. Toland comes inside. Now Vidmar. Turning, got away from two players. Stopped there by Jerry Gomez. Vidmar there following through. Doing some pushing. Conceding the free kick. Well, certainly, Johnny Warren, it's been a nice, bright opening.
For a change, Mike, a very bright opening. Two excellent teams, both playing, trying to play football. And on the sign of the first few minutes, anyhow, we're in for a good afternoon. Perhaps Adelaide City, though, will live to regret that miss in the opening minutes. The free header there from the corner kick was a big miss by Adelaide City, and perhaps they'll regret later in the afternoon. But so far, it looks very entertaining. Both sides have enough skilled players to put on a good show this afternoon. Let's hope so.
Throw on the far side to Adelaide City. Now Santrac. Way there by Wheatley. McCulloch. Still McCulloch battling his way through. Still McCulloch. And now Farina. Farina trying the shot, and that wasn't too far wide. And in fact, it took a deflection. Marconi have got a corner. Good play there by Tommy McCulloch. McCulloch's battling there. Led that one into the path of Frank Farina. The shot there took a deflection. So again, a corner for Marconi. Jerry Gomez has come forward. Nastevski, the player to swing this one across. Farina at the near post. Gomez at the far post. And doing some pushing, Jerry Gomez.
That's a second free header Gomez has had, Mike, from a corner kick, and Adelaide City are going to have a tighter control of him. They noticed they had Villani marking him there. I wouldn't have thought heading was one of the strong points of Villani's otherwise excellent game. And Adelaide City really got to get a taller and better header as a defender to pick Gomez up on these corner kicks, because already in 10 minutes he's had two free headers and they could pay dearly for that.
For those corners, Steve Maxwell and Gomez line up together, and Maxwell makes the run and has taken a couple of defenders each time with it.
Well,
now Lowe. Maxwell. Caught there by a late challenge from Neville Flounders. Nastevski trying to take the free kick quickly, and the ball was moving. Referee Sam Zumas will have it retaken. Neville Flounders. The rock at the centre of the Adelaide City defence. Some worrying times for Zoran Matic. This free kick's taken. Gomez again. Gets his head to it. Safely taken over by McNally. McNally just rolling that one out. This is Shillabeer. Shillabeer, who came back to the club last season after missing a year. He was an important member of their championship winning side. As was this youngster, Vidmar. Vidmar spreading it wide. Tobin. Maxwell had come back. Steve Maxwell certainly keen to impress in his hometown this afternoon for his new club. Vatsilas. Now Tobin. Again, Maxwell doing the tackling, and it took a touch off of Alex Tobin. So a throw this time to Marconi.
Blasco! Push!
Vieri shouting out instructions for Marconi from the bench. Carter. Getting that one forward, the ball being held up. And a swirling breeze that's sprung up here in Adelaide this afternoon. But that wasn't the best of balls forward from Santrac. Now Craig Mason. Nastevski. And that one in first time. Maxwell. The corner given. Took a deflection. Decision not to the liking of the Adelaide crowd. Steve Maxwell was in there quickly. Got a touch and it took a deflection. So another corner for Marconi. Jerry Gomez and Tony Henderson have both come forward. Nastevski, near post ball, off the head there of Melta. Now Maxwell. Much too high. Again Roberto Vieri. Shouting out instructions. Certainly Steve Maxwell this afternoon, John, looks very sharp.
well, he's out to impress, isn't he? It hasn't been a happy move for Steve. In the early days, he's moved to Marconi. I think he would be the first to admit that. It's not easy to move cities for a youngster and settle into a new club. But probably more than anything, he needs a couple of goals to get his confidence back. I think that's all that's a matter of. He's too good a player to be judged on the form that he's shown in Sydney so far. And against his old club, he'd like nothing more than to open that scoring account here today.
Heavy challenge there from Vidmar. So another free kick for Marconi. Vidmar, one of the two goal scorers last weekend. Only a youngster. 20 years old. So Nastevski with this free kick. Trying to play that one down the line for Maxwell. Maxwell eventually gets it from Carter. Unable to control. Now Nyskohus. Vatsilas caught in possession. Off the head there of Santrac. Carter. Double Flounders straight into the back of Steve Maxwell. Charlie Villani said in the introduction, Neville Flounders would be looking after Steve Maxwell. At the moment, they're like shadows. Nastevski with the free kick for Marconi. This could spell danger. Usually away there by Bugsy Nyskohus. Now Carter. And now Adelaide City breaking quickly. This is Sergio Melta. Vatsilas has made a run forward. Still Melta. Mason came across, and that was a deliberate body check. Craig Mason knew the danger was on. Nothing else he could do, he tells the referee. Free kick quickly taken. Now Tobin. Far post ball. Swings wide. Way for a goal kick. Bobby Catlin, the Marconi keeper. That's the distinction of scoring, in fact, and he scored against Marconi when he was playing for Apia. And that was back in August 1984. So today making his 25th West End National Soccer League appearance. One of the few goalkeepers with a goal against his name. Throw to Marconi on the far side. So Robbie Wheatley, also in the Socceroos training squad, taking the throw all the way back to Tony Henderson. Turn plays it all the way back to his keeper. Marconi had that throw on the halfway line. Catlin again with a long clearance. On the head of Vidmar. Nastevski forward, now Farina. Twisting and turning. Shot was blocked by Nyskohus. Toland. Still Toland. Santrac available on that far side. Santrac. Now Melta. Wheatley was the player coming across. Throw for Adelaide City. So Robbie Wheatley. Dropping back now to his left back position. Now Charlie Villani. Santrac. Now Tobin. Tobin. Nastevski was the player chasing back, and Tobin there had just been doing some pushing. Shake of the head there from Alex Tobin. Certainly didn't please him. I don't think it pleased the Adelaide City fans either. These teams last met here in Adelaide back in 1983. The game was played on the 10th of April in Adelaide City. That time run out winners by a goal to nil. Joe Mullen, who's out of today's match, was the scorer on that occasion. Now Sergio Melta. Santrac. Now Paul Shillabeer. Trying to play that one with the outside of his boot. Haven't got any curve on it. Paul Shillabeer, such a good competitor at fullback. Just 23 years old. Started his career here in Adelaide City with the juniors. Santrac. Came off at Charlie Villani. Throw goes to Marconi. Now Maxwell. Maxwell came in from Flounders. Throw to Marconi to be taken by Jerry Gomez. Maxwell. Now McCulloch. Take that one forward. Gomez on the run through. Nyskohus came across after spotting the danger. McCulloch this time with the throw. McCulloch. Lifting that one for Gomez. Nyskohus came across. Such a good reader of the game, Bugsy Nyskohus. Still going strong at 36 years old. Now Gomez. Paul Carter there, bringing down Vatsilas. Free kick for Adelaide City. So Alex Tobin. Now Nyskohus. Practicing Nyskohus. Tony Henderson, two survivors from the very first season of the NSL back in 1977. Nyskohus, of course, was with Adelaide City. Tony Henderson in that year was with Canberra. Now Farina. Now Craig Mason. McCulloch. Nastevski had taken up a good position on that far side. McCulloch had spotted him. Now Wheatley. McCulloch. Maxwell. Nastevski with a shot. Good shot on the volley. Well worth a go, that one, John.
Yeah, well, it's one of the many good moves Marconi's had so far, and the promising start's continuing, with both teams really trying to play football, putting together some good passing movements. Marconi probably slightly on top at this stage.
Free kick given against Alex Tobin then for that challenge on David Lowe. So Craig Mason takes his free kick as Zoran Matic looks on. McCulloch trying to play that one back into the path of Farina. Frank Farina, their judge, have been doing some pushing. Free kick quickly taken. Now Shillabeer. Shillabeer. Stopped by Nastevski. Now Craig Mason. Adelaide City with plenty of players back. This is McCulloch. Starting off this season with the now defunct Sydney City. Scored a couple of goals in their first match of the day. Transferred for last weekend's match for $20,000 back to his original club. Now Farina. David Lowe. Lowe trying the shot, didn't get hold of that at all. David Lowe yet to open his account this season for Marconi. Scored 49 goals in the West End National Soccer League in 132 matches. He's been waiting now for 3 matches to score his 50th goal. Now Flounders. Shillabeer. Flounders. And into space, Toland, the player with the run. Maxwell, the player who'd come back. Now Craig Mason. Just failing to keep that one in. Throw to Adelaide City. Just over the halfway point in this first half. Still no score. Now Santrac. Bobbled awkwardly for him as he lined up the shot. In fact, this ground has been used up until last weekend for athletics. In places the ground very bumpy.
Interesting too, Mike, that Neville Flounders and Paul Shillabeer are doing some tight marking here. Flounders hard on Maxwell and Shillabeer hard on Farina, and those two players doing a lot of running to pull those players out of position, which Marconi hasn't quite been able to capitalise on, John. They should be able to do it, perhaps.
Now Tobin. Santrac. Caught there by Craig Mason. So a free kick for Adelaide City. So Santrac. Bucks in Nyskohus. Everybody forward now for Adelaide City. Everybody back for Marconi. Charlie Villani. Haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. Villani penalised there for the challenge on Tommy McCulloch. So a free kick this time to Marconi. Tony Henderson. Nastevski. Away there by Tobin. Now Vidmar. Villani pushed in the back by Jerry Gomez. Free kick to Adelaide City. Villani. Tobin. Santrac. There's Bugsy Nyskohus. Santrac again. Needs help at the moment. Now Shillabeer. Vidmar. Vidmar gets a free kick for the challenge from Tommy McCulloch. Santrac with the free kick. And pushing this time by Vatsilas. Certainly the moment John, the referee not giving this game too much chance of flow.
No, well, it's pretty obvious when to play the advantage. That's a criticism I have of the refereeing at the moment. There were two incidents there where, sure, there was a foul, but the advantage went to the team that was offended against. And I think in the interest of the game that our referees should allow and be able to read the game a lot better and allow the advantage to take place.
Now Vidmar. Running into trouble, losing out there to David Lowe. Now Shillabeer. He's lost out to Farina, and now David Lowe. Faced there by Nyskohus. Still David Lowe. Call as you like, chip back there by Paul Shillabeer. Melta. Santrac. Out there by Gomez. Now McCulloch. Gomez again. Maxwell. Maxwell there upended by Tobin. Mason. Now Farina. Mason. Marconi now with plenty of players forward. Mason tries the shot. Sergio Melta sticks out a boot. Turns it back to his keeper. Good quick throw there from Willie McNally. This is Paul Shillabeer with a lot of space on the far side. Shillabeer. Now Nyskohus. McNally getting every player behind the ball. It's very difficult for Adelaide City. Now Flounders. Trying to play that one forward. Villani pushed in the back by Jerry Gomez. Free kick to Adelaide City. Ironic cheers from the home supporters. Neville Flounders. Playing it quickly. This is Santrac. Needs somebody wide. Melta's made the run. Sergio Melta cutting inside. And the header. Training squad with a goal. Good cross this from Sergio Melta. Good finishing from Charlie Villani, giving the keeper no chance. 27 minutes gone in the first half. Adelaide City 1, Marconi 0. Well, John, a nice work move, well taken goal.
Well, full marks to Melta for his role in it, but Villani showed just what an outstanding player he is. Jerry Gomez has not given him 1 inch all afternoon. That's the first time that he's had an inch to move in, and he's put that away with an excellent header. It illustrates just the exceptional skills of Charlie Villani and how welcome it is to see him in the Socceroos squad.
Free kick for Adelaide City. Now Tobin. Melta. Through again. Melta there had the advantage. That's what the Adelaide City fans feel about that. Certainly Sergio Melta was fouled, but he came away with the ball. He was on his way. Adelaide City now got a free kick. Away by McCulloch. And Maxwell. He's playing it back for Tony Henderson. McCulloch. Jerry Gomez. Mason. Now Farina. Dispossessed there by Shillabeer. Tony Henderson. Maxwell. Maxwell was fouled by Santrac. Free kick was given. McCulloch. Maxwell. Carter. Away by Flounders. Now Vidmar. Forward now for Charlie Villani. And Villani there tripped by Jerry Gomez. Well, that was a silly trick from Gomez. because Catlin was going to get there before Villani in any case. Jerry Gomez is going to be booked. Gomez has already been sent off once this season. Villani was losing the race. Catlin would have got there first. The Gomez trips him. He gets the first booking of the afternoon. Well, John?
Well, it's our old hobby horse, isn't it? The professional foul outside the box should be punished in the most severest manner. But for a player of Jerry Gomez's experience, that was a ridiculous foul because there was no danger at all to the Marconi goal.
The referee, Sam Zumes. It's the first name in the book this afternoon.
I'll add my 2 cents worth here as well, Mike. On that one, we did say that Robbie Dunn should have been sent off in that answer challenge shield match for exactly the same tackle. And I think really the same punishment was deserved for Jerry Gomez that time.
Charlie Villani back on his feet, but not moving too freely at the moment. The referee still talking to the wall. Which an inch forward. So the free kick will have to be retaken. So Santrac over the ball. Walls inch forward yet again. Santrac. Just a bit too high. Adrian Santrac. He scored 3 goals in the NSL. 57 appearances. Started his career with West Adelaide back in 1982. Joined Adelaide City at the start of 1983. So Catlin with the goal kick. Now Henderson. Farina on the chase on the far side. Oh, ball Shillabeer deliberately didn't play that ball. The linesman gave the throw to Adelaide City. The referee overruled him. Gave the throw to Marconi. Now Flounders. Got the best of all from Flounders. Nyskohus tied his up. Now Tobin. Nyskohus. Santrac. Tobin. Vatsilas. Let the ball run. Nobody following through. No pressure on Tony Henderson. Carter. Throw goes to Adelaide City. In fact, a free kick's been given. Villani. Nyskohus. Santrac. That's Tobin. There's a lot of space in which to operate. Tobin. Trying to beat the keeper, in fact, at the near post. Ball came off the side netting. So Catlin with the clearance. Now Wheatley. Off of Robbie Wheatley, a throw on the far side to Adelaide City. Now Maxwell. Lowe's the only player forward. Breaks nicely though for David Lowe. Lowe playing that one inside. Farina! Farina with the shot. That's only inches wide from Frank Farina. Well, Frank Farina scored last weekend. Marconi there got a favourable bounce. To bounce back into the path, in fact, of David Lowe. Picked out Farina, whose shot wasn't too far wide. Flounders, in fact, injured in that challenge on David Lowe. Is the player down, receiving attention on the far side. Flounders. The player who's gone down. We see the shot from Frank Farina. That wasn't too far wide. Unfortunately, that challenge from Neville Flounders.
Well, for Adelaide City's sake, hopefully he's going to be okay because he's been doing a marvellous marking job, particularly in controlling Maxwell. But good to see Frank Farina back in what I consider his true potential form. I felt with Sydney City, with him playing wide, it wasn't a natural position for him. In his early days with Canberra, he played more in the middle. It gave him more room to operate. And he was absolutely sensational there. I thought at Sydney City his game went backwards a little bit. But the little I've seen of him this year so far, Farina is in a much better playing position to exploit his natural talents, and that was just an example of it there.
So Zoran Matic must be delighted with his side leading by a goal to nil. Just about 9 minutes to go to half-time. William McNally started his career in Perth, joined back in 1982. Been a regular ever since. Now Mason. Maxwell. Trying to look for Lowe on that far side. It was a good ball. McNally's missed it. Now Lowe. Still Davy Lowe. McNally recovered well. Deflected the shot wide. But a mistake there by the keeper. And there was the chance for David Lowe to score his 50th goal in the National Soccer League. An almighty mix up there in the Adelaide City defence. The keeper comes, misses it. Lowe's behind him. Angle was always awkward. Tried to cut inside. Eventually gets shot in, and it comes off McNally and goes away for a corner. So David Lowe swinging this corner in off the head there of Vidmar. Now Toland. Nyskohus. Now Flounders. Mason for Marconi. Adrian Santrac, who had dropped back to help Neville Flounders, who certainly is not moving too freely. But this man is Charlie Villani. Raced there by Mason. Came off of Charlie Villani. So the throw goes to Marconi. Taken by Tony Henderson. Now Maxwell. Taken by Flounders. Villani. Flounders. Melta. Santrac's available wide. Melta picks him out nicely. Now Toland. Santrac. Gonna play that one through for Vatsilas. Wheatley. Now Lowe. One for Frank Farina to chase. Direction was all astray. Nyskohus with the throw. Toland. And he's found the pace different in this West End National Soccer League than what he's been used to playing in Perth. Vidmar. Now Tobin. Good run this from Alex Tobin, a fullback. And a good reverse ball. This is Vidmar. Shot was blocked by Carter. Vidmar there seeming to be pushed. The referee wastes play on. Still Vidmar. Melta. Vidmar there playing it just a bit too far ahead of Sergio Melta. Although it came off the Marconi player. A throw now to Adelaide City. Tobin. Tobin gets the reverse ball from Vidmar. Safely taken there by Bob Catlin. Safe goalkeeping there from Bobby Catlin. Now Mason. Off the head there of Flounders. Tied it up and back by Paul Shillabeer. Now Melta. Vidmar. Nyskohus taking that well on his chest, taking it away from the danger area. Now Shillabeer. Good round of applause from the appreciative Adelaide City fans. Adelaide City, in fact, warming up a substitute. A couple of their players aren't moving too freely at the moment. Now Santrac. Looking for Tobin. Nastevski was the player there first. Now Nastevski, caught by Vidmar. Free kick to Marconi. McCulloch. Looking for Farina. Got a favourable bounce to Farina. Nastevski surely must equalise. Marconi are back on level terms. Nastevski the scorer. The goal coming after 40 minutes. Tough go Nastevski. His second goal of the season in this only his third appearance. Well picked out by Farina. Slid that one across. A mistake. Nastevski's in. Awkward angle. The finishing, though, was clinical. So 40 minutes gone in the first half. Adelaide City won, Marconi won. Zlatko Nastevski, who scored 22 goals last season, playing for Rockdale in the New South Wales State League, scores his second goal in the West End National Soccer League. So Adelaide City there, we're all at 6s and 7s, and were punished. Certainly that goal has stunned this good-sized crowd here in Adelaide. Wheatley with the challenge on Toland. Toland. Sort of of that heavy challenge from Wheatley. Referee Sam Zumas had a quick word with the Marconi fullback. So Nyskohus with this free kick. Off the head there, a Mason. Now Farina. Wheatley. A lot of space on that far side. The best of balls forward. It breaks nicely now for David Lowe. Still Lowe. Lowe trying the shot. Well, that was curling and dipping, and that wasn't too far wide from David Lowe. Again, he got a favourable bounce. And again, it was an awkward angle. Certainly worrying times for Willie McNally. Now Vidmar. Santrac. Nyskohus. That goal seems to have stunned Adelaide City. Momentarily, they seem to have lost their direction with a couple of minutes to go to half-time. Now Santrac, put under pressure by Farina and dispossessed there by Farina. Farina played that one inside. Maxwell moved to the outside. Now Toland. Melta. Tobin. Melta again making himself available. Toland. Good skills. Actually stopped by weight of numbers. Flounders putting that one wide. Shillabeer in space. Still Paul Shillabeer. Now Melta. First time ball, switching direction and picking out Tobin. Tobin loading that one in, came off the head of Tommy McCulloch. Is given a goal kick. That is an unbelievable decision. That clearly came off the head of Tommy McCulloch. And Sam Zumas pointed to for a goal kick. Well, there it is. Clearly off the head of Tommy McCulloch. Everybody in the ground saw that, except for the referee. Now Nyskohus. McCulloch. Now Lowe, playing that back for Wheatley. Now watch for into the final 30 seconds of this first half. Now Mason. Or Carter. Only quite content now to keep possession. Maxwell. Nearly somebody wide, there was nobody there. Went the other way. Now Wheatley. McCulloch, Farina. Referee waste play on, says that one was a dive from Farina. This is Vidmar. Having a whole play up, nobody forward at the moment for Adelaide City. and now Tobin again, finding a lot of space. Vidmar's made a run on the right. Trying to play it to the left. Cut out by McCulloch. Nastevski. Now Lowe. Maxwell. Farina's forward. So's Nastevski. Still Stevie Maxwell. Far post ball. Farina all on his own. Farina twisting and turning. Farina with a shot. Stopped there by McNally. Lowe. Blocked again. And eventually it's Neville Flounders who can clear. But Farina there, denied by the keeper. McCulloch in quickly. Now Tobin. Played 60 seconds now of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Still Tobin. Flounders. Nyskohus there, calling players closer to him. Santrac. Melta. Santrac again, finding space. Shillabeer. Now Santrac. Vidmar's made a run through the middle. So is Villani. Easily cut out though by Jerry Gomez. Marconi on the break. Maxwell's the only player forward. Gomez having to wait. Now plays it forward for Maxwell. Okay, Neville Flounders in close attendance. Maxwell cuts inside. Tries to slide that one through for Farina. Away by Nyskohus. Now Wheatley. Off the head of Santrac. Mason. 2 minutes of stoppage time has now been played. Gomez, who stayed forward, gets that one across. No worries though for Willie McNally. So all eyes now on referee Sam Zumas. Tobin. Now Santrac. Tobin. As the half-time whistle goes, the first half that saw Adelaide City take the lead after 27 minutes from Charlie Villani, his 3rd goal of the season. Marconi getting back on level terms in the 40th minute from Nastevski, his 2nd of the year. So a goal apiece at the end of the first half. Plenty in store for what promises to be an exciting second half. So the half-time score, Adelaide City 1, Marconi 1. Let's join Les Murray.
Thank you, Michael. Johnny Warren's here with me to help us all sum it up. Exciting first half, John, end-to-end stuff. Marconi on top at the beginning and then Adelaide City, and it's 1-1 at the break. I
think the main thing so far in the first half has been that both teams have tried to play football, not just tried, but on most occasions succeeded. And it's refreshing in our match of the day to have such a good football match. Ironic that Marconi were, I thought, the better side in, say, the first half hour, but it was Adelaide City that scored, and then Adelaide City on top for the last 15 minutes, and it was Marconi that scored. But a first-class match so far.
All right, now why is it that, let's start with Adelaide City, the home side and the champions, couldn't quite manage to get on top, in other words, leading at the break?
Well, I think it's fair to say they're missing Mullen and Wild up front. They've got 2 new strikers, if you like, and it's just not exactly working out for them. But from the back, they're playing very well. On the left here, you have Tobin and Villani, and Melta, I think, is having an outstanding game. Villani's goal was a superb piece of work between Melta and Villani, and just shows you how dangerous he is. Gomez has kept a tight rein on him the whole game, gives him half a chance, and he scores with a superb header.
And Marconi, they had the measure of Adelaide City in the midfield, certainly for the first 20 minutes or so, but didn't seem to be able to break it down at the back.
Well, it's been mainly Farina who's been able to penetrate within the box. I think it's fair to say that Maxwell's still a little bit out of form, although in his defence we have to give Flounders full marks because to this stage he's really controlling very well.
Now Steve Maxwell is obviously got something to prove in front of this crowd. All eyes are on him. How's his performance today?
Well, I think he's you have to give full marks to Flounders. He's controlling him very well. He's giving him no room to move. Maxwell's come here, not even though he wants to do well today, he hasn't been in good form or hasn't slotted into the Marconi setup so far. But you'd have to put his performance a bit below expectations at this stage.
And Frank Farina to continue with the big names?
Well, I think Frank's playing exceptionally well. He's creating space for himself. He's very quick on the turn. He's had a couple of good strikes on goal. and I think Farina's coming along in leaps and bounds this year.
How does this Marconi team strike you now that they're under the management of Roberto Vieri? What sort of differences do you see in them?
I think there's a big difference in that, not just their style, but also Adelaide City's, and it's refreshing to see two teams go out and try to play football. And I give full marks to both clubs and their coaches for what the style of play that they're trying to employ here. I like the way they're playing with the controlled passing and a lot of switching of the play, creating space and so on. I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Adelaide City's is a unique style when it comes to the league. Not many teams play that way, and it has brought them excellent results last season. What's the way to break it down?
Well, the way is to break it down, obviously, is with a better team and perhaps playing a similar type of football. And Marconi is playing that type of football today.
So who knows what's going to happen in the second half?
Well, it's anyone's game at the moment, isn't it? I just hope it's as entertaining in the second half as it was in the first half.
Tommy McCulloch, another new man in the Marconi lineup, busy man, very conscientious footballer, playing, I think, a little bit further forward than he certainly used to play with Marconi in the olden days.
Yeah, well, Tommy's winning a lot of the ball in midfield. He's obviously a great signing for Marconi. They've said it's the last one for the season, but he has played there, not just at club level, but with players like David Lowe and Farina. They've played together at youth level, so I would think he feels very much at home.
I've noticed that Nastevski hasn't really had a chance to show his wares with the free kicks. Do you think maybe Adelaide City are careful about giving those free kicks away from, say, 20 metres and closer?
I would think anyone who plays Marconi has to bear in mind that what a good dead ball shooter the guy is, and you just have to restrict their opportunities to convert from there.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so the task ahead for both sides in the second half, just quickly, John.
Well, I would see it going very similar to what it has in the first half. It's going to be the team with the greater individual, someone who takes their opportunity when it's created. It has been a game of very limited opportunity so far, but the marking is so tight that it's going to be the team that takes that opportunity that comes away that's going to win the match.
Okay, John, you're watching Match of the Day then. This is the match between Adelaide City and Marconi, 1-1 at the break. We'll take a short break now and return to the Olympic sports field. You're watching Match of the Day. Well, it's time now for us to draw make the first round draw of our Winner Mazda competition, West End Winner Mazda competition. 6 winners will be drawn this week and 6 every week to go into the hat, and of course to make those entries eligible for the first prize of a Mazda sports car at the end of the year. And with me is the leader of the South Australian opposition, Mr. John Olsen, to draw, and of course the 2 West End girls, Kathy and Vicky, to help us draw the prize. Prizes, Mr. Olsen, quickly, you enjoying the game?
Very much so, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed today. Weather's great, competition's good and tight, and thoroughly enjoying it.
Come to the soccer often?
No, not often enough. Seeing the excitement and the way in which the crowd responds to the match, I think I'll have to come more often.
Fantastic. Well, if you could perhaps draw those 6 envelopes out one at a time, and I will read it out as we go. The first of the names is Maria Papageorgiou of Aris Parade Ride in New South Wales. That's our first winner. We have Mr. Dew from Girvan Grove, Lonsdale in Victoria, or in Port Lonsdale, should I say, in Victoria. Our third name is Mr. Sago of the post office in Queanbeyan in New South Wales. We have J.E. Spry of Hibertia Crescent, or Hibertia Crescent, in Ferndale in Western Australia.
Gee, I better get a South Australian name in
Yeah. Yes, we're not having much luck here today, but the team might do well today. And we have Mrs. Bakers of Barbary Avenue, Glen Waverley, 3150. Where's that? Queensland. Victoria, I beg your pardon. Okay, one more name. And that's... and we have 2 envelopes for Mrs. Baker, and the rules is that we can have multiple entries. So here's a lucky lady, Mrs. Baker of Barbary Avenue, Glen Waverley in Victoria, has two entries for the Winner Mazda competition, and each of these viewers will receive consolation and minor prizes for the week, which I'll tell you about later in the week. But they do go into the hat to win that Mazda 323 at the end of the season. Mr. Olsen, thanks very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Will do. Thank
Kathy,
you.
Vicky, thank you very much. Okay, that's the story here at the Olympic Sports Field. 1-1 the scoreline between Adelaide City and Marconi. So let's go back to Mike Hill for the second half.
Well, thanks, Les. Welcome back to the start of the second half. There's the scoreline. Adelaide City 1, Marconi 1. Sanzuna gets ready to start the second half. And during the half-time break, Adelaide City have made a substitution. Neville Flounders has gone off. He took a knock in the first half. The player coming on is Colin Miller, who wears the number 13 shirt. So Colin Miller will slot into the back four. There's his first touch. Now Santrac. Marconi are unchanged from the start of this second half. Still Santrac. Lifting that one forward. It's Miller making a run on the far side. Melta gets there first. Sergio Melta stopped by the challenge from David Lowe. A throw to Adelaide City. Now Toland. Miller loading that one in. Off the head there of Paul Carter. Carter stopped by Villani. Cardi though comes away with the ball. Nastevski spreading it wide. David Lowe pushing up on the new player that's come on. Colin Miller. Another player who's come through the youth ranks here at Adelaide City. So it must be worrying times for Zoran Matic with Neville Flounders. Certainly his most outstanding defender. Off during the half-time break. Now Henderson. McCulloch. Marconi with plenty of players forward. Off the head there of Vidmar. Helped on its way by Nyskohus, who was caught late by Tommy McCulloch. Nyskohus has stayed down. Now Vatsilas. Vatsilas stopped by Craig Mason. Henderson. Nastevski. Free waving play on Mason. Now Vidmar breaks for Farina. Now Maxwell. Maxwell trying to play that one through. Wheatley on the overlap. A good challenge that from Alex Tobin. In fact, it was Paul Shillabeer who came across. Shillabeer, who is now forming a central defensive partnership with Hugsy Nyskohus, with Neville Flounders off. Colin Miller's moved into the fullback spot, vacated by Shillabeer. Robert Wheatley with the throw. Now Toland. Carter in before Vatsilas. The ball goes out of play, a goal kick for Adelaide City. Jerry Gomez. Shadowing as he did in the first half, Charlie Villani. Now Miller. Vidmar. McCulloch was in there quickly. Shillabeer. Miller. Colin Miller there being pulled back by Stevie Maxwell. Colin Miller comes on for his first National Soccer League match. Inside, drawing 1-1 with Marconi. Sergio Melta bundled in the back by David Lowe. Roberto Vieri likes to return to Sydney tonight with at least a point. McCulloch, caught by Miller. So a free kick to Marconi. Tommy McCulloch slowly to his feet. There's the challenge from Miller. Just catching the feet of Tommy McCulloch. So certainly a good sized crowd here in Adelaide for this fixture. Traditionally they've been exciting matches. So far this one hasn't let us down. Jerry Gomez just failing to get a touch and doing some pushing in the process. Jerry Gomez, who's made a couple of international appearances for Australia back in 1985 in the series against Vasco da Gama and Tottenham. Now Now Nyskohus. Melta. Now Shillabeer. Coming inside. Needs help. Picks out Santrac. Now Nyskohus. Melta. Wheatley was in there quickly. Wheatley, who joined Marconi a couple of seasons ago from Blacktown, former Australian Youth International, now a member of the current Winfield Socceroos squad. Toland, still and turning. Henderson was in there first, showing all his experience, Tony Henderson. And then the judge had been doing some pushing. He was trying to hurdle young Andy Toland. He finishes up in smiles. Tony Henderson, former captain of the Socceroos, now the organiser of this Marconi defence. They've got some defending to do. Melta with the free kick, loading this one in, holding there in the wind, safely taken though by Catlin. Surrounded by black and white shirts. So a free kick to Marconi to relieve the pressure. A disappointment for Adelaide City and for that coach Automatics, John, with Neville Flounders having to go off.
Well, it's a worry for him, not just the fact that Flounders did just such a fine defending job in the first half, but he's also now got Nyskohus, the experienced captain and sweeper of the side, limping badly, which means that he may have to make another change in the defence there at the moment.
Henderson forward. Off the arm, in fact, of Frank Farina. Spotted by the linesman on the far side. So a free kick to Adelaide City. This game at this stage not quite picking up the pace that it had in the first half. Now Tobin. That was a mistake. Nastevski into the path there of Frank Farina. Still Farina, quickly closed down by Nyskohus and Shillabeer, and Nyskohus got a knock yet again. There was a mistake initially by Alex Tobin. Farina on the run through. And Nyskohus there, in fact, getting caught by his own player. Nyskohus today playing his 76th consecutive NSL match. There must be some kind of record. It'll be interesting to see if he sees this afternoon out. At the moment, Adelaide City have got to face this corner. Nastevski. Gomez! Wide there from Jerry Gomez. And again, he lost his markers. Jerry Gomez, who scored 29 goals in the West End National Soccer League. A lot of them from similar situations. That time, though, the header was off target. Now Villani. Trying to play that one inside the Santrac. Maxwell got a touch. And another one to Farina. Shillabeer tidying up all the way back to Willie McNally. Certainly Adelaide City getting plenty of support this afternoon. Their home supporters. Shillabeer. Melta. Melta spreading it wide. This is Miller, the substitute. Nastevski was the player coming across. Throw to Adelaide City on the far side. Santrac, giving that one away. This is David Lowe. Nastevski on that far side. Marconi now with three players forward. Nastevski, a quick cross in. Away there by Shillabeer, straight to David Lowe, who tried to line that one up for Farina. Well tidied up by Sergio Melta. Adelaide City, John, starting to make a few elementary mistakes.
Yes, well, it's all going Marconi's way at the moment. Fair to say they're on top, dominating the match, very similar to they did in the first half. But concern for Adelaide City is the limping of Bugsy Nyskohus at the back.
Nastevski. Now Maxwell. He's failing to keep it in, Stevie Maxwell. Bugsy Nyskohus ever present for the last 3 seasons, in fact, for Adelaide City. last missed a game back in September 1983. Certainly with Neville Flounders off, he'd be sorely missed this afternoon. Now Vidmar. Shillabeer. A lot of space on that far side. Miller's made a run. Shillabeer changes direction. Now Toland. Santrac. Santrac with a shot. That was on target. Safely taken though by Bobby Catlin. Now David Lowe. Lowe forward. Nastevski with a run from deep. And McNally came. Showed a slight sign there of hesitation. And the bounce favoured him. Now Santrac. But that really was a good ball forward from David Lowe. Saw Matic there, indicating what he felt some of his players weren't thinking. Now Mason. David Lowe. Placed there by Tobin. Still Lowe. Came off a Toland. And a corner given. Instruction there was for Lenny Vatsilas to stay forward. Everybody else, though, has gone back to defend this corner. So Tony Henderson, Steve Maxwell, Jerry Gomez all at the far post. Henderson with the header. Over the top from Tony Henderson. Tony Henderson, who started his career in Australia with Canberra back in 1977 and 78 before moving to Marconi. Player made a good run from the far post, finished up on the near post. The header was wide. McCulloch. A tussle on that far side, comes away there from two challengers, then he releases the ball to Farina. Farina there, upended. Free kick to Marconi. Nastevski goes across to take it, and that could spell danger for Adelaide City. The challenge on Farina. So again, another opportunity for Jerry Gomez and Henderson to go forward. Nastevski, Maxwell! Stevie Maxwell, his second goal of the season, scores against his old club. The goal coming 12 minutes into the second half. Joy there on the face of Steve Maxwell. And when it came, it was simple. Nastevski's free kick. And Maxwell, no problems burying that one in the back of the net. A free header inside the 6-yard box. McNally's beaten. 12 minutes into the second half. Stevie Maxwell, his second goal of the season. Adelaide City 1, Marconi 2. Steve Maxwell does what all strikers like to do. Scores against his old club. And Johnny, when it came, it was so simple.
Well, the problem was that Adelaide City were concerned with the taller players like Henderson and Gomez, which allowed Maxwell to go free.
Now Miller, away by Henderson. Toland. Easily cut out by Robert Wheatley. Vatsilas. Now Toland. Running that one in. The offside flag was up. Melta with the shot. Shot there over the top from Sergio Melta. But Johnny, we were saying about the free kicks from Nastevski, and that was a beauty.
Well, he's an expert at the free kicks, but I still feel it was more Adelaide City's concern about the height. They've allowed Marconi to have many free headers in the box this afternoon, particularly from Gomez. And they saw, obviously, Gomez and Henderson as the biggest dangers in the air. And in picking them up, they left Maxwell free.
Henderson under pressure. Catlin just getting a touch. Now Henderson. Clearing the lines, away for a throw-in. Adelaide City, who started this match so impressively, seeing the one-goal lead disappear. They now trail by a goal. Vatsilas. Nicely marked by Paul Carter. Now Melta. Loading this one in. No problems for Bobby Catlin. Bob Catlin, a giant of a keeper, only 21 years old. Now Tommy McCulloch. In with the opportunity of piling this one well forward. Off the head of Tobin. Now Maxwell. Is possessed there by Sergio Melta. Miller. Now Melta. Maxwell was the player chasing back and sees the throw in. Adelaide City came into this match this afternoon in second position. Marconi was sixth. That comes off the head of Jerry Gomez. Adelaide City now have got a corner. So Alex Tobin goes forward. In situations like this, that Adelaide City will miss the services of Neville Flounders. Santrac with the corner. Near post, away there by Tommy McCulloch. Now Lowe. Miller. Santrac. Lifting that one inside. Toland. Still Andy Toland. Gets this one across. Off the head there, Shillabeer. Safely taken by Catlin. Vatsilas, though, was doing some pushing. Certainly concern, as you saw there, on the face of Zoran Matic. Zoran Matic, of course, who played for Adelaide City back in the 1977 and 78 season. First 2 years of the West End National Soccer League. Scored just one goal in 38 appearances. Always awkward for a coach. You can't get on there and do it yourself. Now Melta. Vidmar. Charlie Villani, who's come a lot deeper in this second half. Santrac. Now Vidmar. Till Vidmar, roared on there by the crowd, getting that one across. Clearance from Paul Carter. Till Vidmar. Vidmar there holding David Lowe's shirt. Yet the free kick goes to Adelaide City for David Lowe for backing into the player. Now Toland. It's won a corner, that came off of David Lowe. Marconi start warming up a substitute, Lee Sterry, who replaced Jerry Gomez last week, who was suspended, on the bench this week. And Santrac takes the corner. Off the head there of Stevie Maxwell, back helping his defenders. Now Nastevski, forward for Farina. Farina dispossessed there by Sergio Melta. Tobin. So Alex Tobin playing that back, and that was a bad ball into the path there of Frank Farina. And Marconi now, a 3-on-1 situation. Still Frank Farina. And a good, well-timed tackle by Nyskohus. And he's annoyed with his defenders. He was exposed there. With Farina with the ball and two spare players. Farina again. Lowe goes to Adelaide City. Certainly referee Sam Zumas not endear himself at all this afternoon to the Adelaide City fans. I must say that some of his decisions are confusing to say the least. Miller trying to play that one back inside, only picks out McCulloch. Maxwell with a shot. Charged down and away by Shillabeer, only as far though as Mason. Maxwell again. Now McCulloch. Mason. Looking to spread it wide, nobody there for Marconi. Now Wheatley. Farina. It's by Shillabeer. Gomez up in support. Far post ball, off the head there of Sergio Melta. Now Vidmar. Vidmar trying to release Charlie Villani. Stopped by a combination of this man, Robert Wheatley, and Jerry Gomez. Maxwell. Oh, Stevie Maxwell there. Jumped out of that challenge from Vidmar. Yet Marconi been given a free kick when they had the advantage. That was a strange decision, John. It didn't even connect.
Well, it's a bit annoying today, isn't it? It's about 40 times it's happened so far, and really the game needs to flow. We don't need unnecessary stoppages like we're getting from the referee when the team has the advantage.
So Robert Wheatley to take the free kick. Looking for Farina. Farina wins that challenge in the air. Now Vidmar. Adelaide City trying to break quickly, but nobody forward for them. Now Miller. Toland. Easily tied up by Craig Mason. A good strong game this afternoon from Marconi in midfield. Craig Mason, player they signed from Newcastle. Now Gomez. Wheatley. Henderson. Marconi. 2-1 ahead away from home. Won't do anything silly at the back now. Now watch. Just about 24 minutes left. So Roberto Vieri, who came here as a player, made 66 appearances for Marconi, retired at the end of the 1980 season. Sees the side leading by 2-1. Still Lee Sterry warms up for Marconi. Carter. Now Maxwell. Tobin was the player coming across. So a throw on the far side. So Nastevski, player going across to take this throw. Foul throw, in fact, and you don't see that very often in the West End National Soccer League. Throw now to be taken by Adelaide City. Sergio Melta. Now Villani. Adelaide City starting to warm up their second substitute, Timmy Mullen, the younger brother, in fact, of Joe Mullen, who's out for the next 3 weeks, in fact, with a leg injury, sustained in Wednesday night's Beach Fashions Cup match against Sunshine George Cross. Now Vidmar. Forced inside, giving the ball away. Covers well. Now Santrac. Santrac playing it into space. Toland, the player, making the run forward. Placed there by Craig Mason. Still Andy Toland. Still Toland. Miller. Now Charlie Villani. Vidmar, away by Carter. Santrac. Villani. Gomez in there quickly. Jerry Gomez, such a utility player throughout his career. Played every position bar goal. Worrying times now for those Adelaide City fans. Vatsilas. Catching Paul Carter. Free kick against the Marconi. Carter. Seems to have taken a nasty knock. And the referee not letting the trainer on. And saying to Paul Carter that he's got to crawl off to the other side. Carter slowly gets to his feet. Marconi have the free kick. It's only Henderson. Firing this one forward. Off the head there of Alex Tobin. McCulloch. Now Farina. Mason. Henderson. Villani. Just touching that one forward, but Vatsilas. Paul Carter was the player across. There's Lee Sterry still warming up as he has been now for about the last 15 minutes. Who usually plays in the back four. Toland. Possessed by Henderson, then McCulloch. Santrac. Sergio Melta. Nastevski in there quickly. And now Farina. Space ahead. Still Frank Farina. Shot finishes up high and wide. But put off there by a good challenge from Paul Shillabeer. Explosive speed there of Frank Farina. Release on his way. Good challenge from Shillabeer. Now Adelaide City wanting to make a substitution. Tim Mullen is the player coming on. Chris Miller, who came on at half-time, is the player that goes off. Tim Mullen. 19 years old. Makes his second appearance in the West End National Soccer League. And Chris Miller, or Colin Miller in fact, only surviving 25 minutes. It's coming on at half-time. Now Wheatley. Vidmar. This is Adrian Santrac. Melta, who's made a good run on that far side and found some space. Melta trying to get that one across. Blocked by McCulloch. Still Sergio Melta. Voting this one into the far post. Everybody had moved inside. Away by Robert Wheatley. Tobin misjudges that. Recovers well before Maxwell can get there. Now Lowe, leaving it for Mason. Craig Mason playing that one all the way back to his keeper. So an interesting substitution that, John, with Timmy Mullen coming on.
Yeah, I think tactical move. Adelaide City really lacking penetration up front. The change of Miller, a defender, for Mullen, a forward, is really desperation stuff by Zoran Matic, the Adelaide City coach now. They're really up against it. They've got to throw more men forward if they're going to get something back out of this game, and hence the change of Mullen for Miller. Adelaide City really have dropped away in the second half, haven't they, Mike? They've lost their way just a little bit. Prior to the match, we felt that they were going to miss their two strikers who are out, and I think that's fair comment on the match so far. Marconi, on the other hand, have the match well under control. 20 minutes to go. 2 points away from home is like gold to them at this stage, and they're quite content just to pick up the quick breaks, mainly using Farina, and keep it really tight at the back.
Well, Marconi making a substitution, and least area defender comes on. Nastevski, who scored their second goal, or their equalising goal, in fact, is the player that comes off. So least area defender for a midfielder. So Vieria's made his intentions quite clear, John.
Well, for the opposite reasons to Matic making his changes.
Now Toland. Placed there by Lowe. Still Toland. Good challenge from young David Lowe. Throw to Adelaide City. Quickly taken. Now Santrac. Santrac. On and low. Now Vatsilas. Vatsilas using his arm to control that. That was well spotted by the referee. But Marconi at one stage were in all sorts of trouble. All started with the cross from Santrac that was hit hard and low. And the Marconi defenders were in all sorts of trouble. And eventually it comes out to Lemmy Vatsilas. He couldn't get a shot in. Tried to twist and turn and had to use his arm there to control the ball. That results in this free kick. Now Santrac. Sergio Melta. Away there by Paul Shillabeer. Maxwell forward, now Farina. McCulloch running into trouble, stopped there by Vidmar. Free kick to Adelaide City. Quickly taken. This is Sergio Melta. Paul Melta. Timmy Mullen. Toland. Mullen again. Vidmar finding space, faced there by Gomez, beaten by Jerry Gomez. Santrac. Swinging that one wide, Melta. Again taking up a good position on that far touchline. Toland. Santrac. Melta. Marconi though have everybody back. Still Sergio Melta. Now Vidmar. There's space on this near touchline. Nobody there from either side at the moment. Melta. Melta. Henderson across. Clearing it to safety. So 15 minutes left. Adelaide City 1, Marconi 2. Throw for Adelaide City to be taken by Sergio Melta. Vatsilas. Vatsilas wins a corner off Paul Carter. Paul Carter, just 23 years old. 37 appearances for Apia before joining Marconi. As this corner's been taken. Now Santrac. Santrac bursting into the penalty area, away by Tony Henderson. Now Melta. It came off of Henderson and bounces nicely now for McCulloch. Forward looking for Farina. Shillabeer was the player in first. The throw on the far side goes to Marconi. For the moment, John Marconi looking very solid at the back with the addition of Lee Sterry.
Well, they brought on an extra defender. Adelaide City brought on extra forward. I think the trend of the match now for the last 15 minutes is Adelaide City pressing and Marconi relying on just the quick breaks through Farina. Marconi happy to hang on to 2 points. Adelaide City desperate to get something back out of this match.
Now McCulloch. Farina. Mason. Craig Mason being forced back. Picks out Henderson, who in turn picks out Robbie Wheatley. Vidmar dispossessing David Lowe. Certainly Vidmar, the number 11 for Adelaide City, has got through a tremendous amount of work this afternoon. Chasing and Harrison. Farina. Now McCulloch. Jerry Gomez. Quite content to keep possession. Mason. Now Farina. Trying to lay that one off into the path of McCulloch. Wheatley. Only pushing it around now, John, reminiscent of their championship winning side in 1979, of which, of course, Roberto Vieri was a very important part.
Well, a very key player and a great player in Australian soccer terms, Roberto Vieri, and it's fair to say that his team is showing similar qualities to what the great Roberto had.
Maxwell trying to touch that one forward for Lee Sterry. Tied up by Timmy Mullen. Now Bugsy Nyskohus. Adelaide City, who started off the season with a 4-1 home win over Heidelberg. 2-2 draw last week against Apia after leading 2-0. They lost midweek in the first round of the Beach Fashions Cup on a penalty shootout to Sunshine George Cross. Now with about 12 minutes left, they trail here 2-1 to Marconi. Santrac. Vatsilas trying to lay that one back, easily intercepted though by Lee Sterry. Now Tobin, way by Gomez. Sterry just helps it on its way. And now David Lowe. This is where Marconi could be so dangerous with Lowe and Farina, two very speedy players up front. Paul Shillabeer has to concede the corner. Jeff Gunning starts to warm up for Marconi. David Lowe's the player who's gone across to take this corner. Jerry Gomez has again gone forward. So no urgency now about the play of Marconi. So David Lowe. Half post ball. Henderson forward. Henderson with the header. And over the top. Nearly an own goal there from Alex Tobin. Well, in fact, the referee has given a goal kick. Let's have a look at that again. Lowe with the corner. Henderson. Off the foot there of Alex Tobin, just over the bar. Goal kick is given. Well, that evens it up from the first half. That was a confusing decision, John.
Yeah, there's been a few this afternoon, Mike. It's easy to sit here and criticise referees, but there have been some pretty obvious decisions which have gone the other way, and it really isn't good enough for the NSL.
Now Santrac caught in possession and dispossessed there by Tommy McCulloch. Lowe's forward, so's Maxwell, still Tommy McCulloch. Now David Lowe, through the legs, Lowe, shot there is charged down. Vidmar, dispossessed by McCulloch. Lowe, way there by Alex Tobin. Now Carter, he's knocking that one down. Wheatley, Gomez started to run forward, changed his mind, still Robbie Wheatley. Placed there by Toland. Wheatley needs help at the moment, goes back, picks out Jerry Gomez. Gomez all the way back to Catlin. Robbie Wheatley, in fact, was about 15 yards inside the Adelaide City half. And he decided to play it back. Jeff Gunning, still warming up for Marconi. And now Lowe. Placed by Melta. McCulloch. Throwing that one in, looking for Farina. Away there by Shillabeer. Mason. David Lowe. Oh, stop there by Sergio Melta, who stops the ball going for a corner. Adelaide City at the moment completely lost their way. McNally there urging players to get forward. Vatsilas is the only player forward, in fact, for Adelaide City. Now Tobin. Marconi's last win here in Adelaide against Adelaide City was back in 1981. They won by a goal to nil. The goal that day was scored by Mark Yankovic. He's been forced to retire because of injury problems, as Marconi now want to make another substitution. Trying to attract the referee's attention, although the free kick has now been taken. Santrac spreading it wide. Tobin. Still Tobin. Now Toland. Maybe Toland can be happy with his first up display in the West End National Soccer League. Nyskohus. Toland again. Needs help. Now Timmy Mullen. Good skills there from the youngster. Caught by a late challenge from Craig Mason. Free kick to Adelaide City, just outside the Marconi penalty area. Timmy Mullen, who joined Adelaide City during the off-season. Brought on today in the absence of his elder brother Joe, who's out for the next 3 or 4 matches with a knee injury. So Adrian Santrac, Sergio Melta, Charlie Villani, the 3 players over the ball. Villani, Santrac, too high from Adrian Santrac. And Jeff Gunning will now come on for Marconi. We've on our watch, just 6 minutes left. So the player going off is Stevie Maxwell. Scorer of Marconi's second goal, the goal that could prove to be the winner here this afternoon. Stevie Maxwell goes off. Last year he was the hero for Adelaide City, scoring 11 goals. They went on to become National League champions. So Marconi now, in fact, have taken off both goal scorers and substituted them. Now Jeff Gunning. Big, strong and forceful Jeff Gunning. Strong runner. With Adelaide City now having to push more and more players forward. Players with the speed of Lowe, Gunning and Farina to cause all sorts of problems. Now Lowe. Return from David Lowe. Wheatley. Throw goes to Marconi. Challenge came in from Adrian Santrac. Throw this time to Adelaide City. Anxious eyes on the Marconi bench as they look at their watches. We can tell them on ours. There's now 5 minutes left. Worrying times for Zoran Matic. Nyskohus. Played in all these matches since 1977 between these two clubs. Now Santrac. Tobin. Santrac. Going to play it back to Nyskohus. Marconi getting everybody behind the ball. Some of the crowd now starting to head towards the exits as Tommy McCulloch picks up the loose ball. Goes forward for Marconi. Denied there by a good save by William McNally. Tommy McCulloch, good forceful break from midfield. Really tested the keeper. Brought the best there out of William McNally. This is where Tommy McCulloch is so dangerous. That was goal bound. Harmed away by the keeper. Vatsilas. The drums starting to go silent now for Adelaide City. Now Santrac. Melta. There by McCulloch. Santrac again. Now Tobin. Placed there by Lowe. Tobin trying to get that one across. That came off of David Lowe. So a throw for Adelaide City. Waiting this time by Craig Mason. Another throw for Adelaide City. Vatsilas. Tobin. Toland. Toland got an awkward bounce. Craig Mason can clear, and now Tommy McCulloch. Farina's made a run forward. Now Lowe. Farina playing into the path of David Lowe. Nyskohus slipping. Recovered quickly enough, played it all the way back to his keeper. Now Timmy Mullen. Santrac. Worrying times now for Zoran Matic. He'll know there's only a couple of minutes left as Tobin makes the run forward. Adelaide City now, a do-or-die effort. Get a point from this match, playing it to the near post. Safely taken though by Catlin. Vidmar was the player who made the run across. Looking to just get a touch. Bobby Catlin getting a long distance with that clearance. Nyskohus beating Farina in the air now. Jeff Gunning. Free kick, a handball against Timmy Mullen. For Marconi, they'll be in no hurry to take this. Referee Sam Zuma starts to check his watches. So Lee Sterry, Tommy McCulloch, the two players over the ball. So Craig Mason eventually steps up and takes it. Now McCulloch, forward for Farina. McCulloch. Now Lowe. Still David Lowe. Through the legs of Mullen. Now Santrac. Stopped by Lee Sterry. Legally, says referee Sam Zumas. A free kick for Adelaide City. They've got to get this ball forward quickly. On our watch now, we're into the final 60 seconds. Come on, Alex! Now Tobin. Santrac. Melta. Now Mullen. forced back again to Nyskohus, and a mistake there by Vatsilas. This is Frank Farina. This could be curtains for Adelaide City. Farina denied there by William McNally. Now Santrac. Tobin, he's got a lot of space ahead. Adelaide City with a chance now. The Stage 1 final attack. Melta, stopped there by Craig Mason. A free kick for Adelaide City. Well, Farina had the chance to settle this match. He got away there from Nyskohus. Tried to beat the keeper at the near post. McNally was down quickly. Adelaide City have now got a free kick further upfield. Melta lifting this one in. Villani beaten in the air, that time by Jerry Gomez. Away by Gomez. Farina the only player forward at the moment. Now joined by David Lowe. He's got Jeff Gunning. This is Gunning. Gunning with the shot. It's over the top. It's going to waste a few more valuable seconds. Jeff Gunning, who scored 5 goals in the NSL in just 13 appearances. Such a good striker of the ball with that trusted left foot. That one was much too high. Now watch now, we've played 60 seconds of stoppage time. Santrac. All the way back for Shillabeer. Adelaide City need to get this ball forward quickly. Mullen. Vatsilas. As the final whistle goes, disappointment for Adelaide City in their first home game of the season. After taking the lead after 27 minutes from Charlie Villani, Marconi equalised after 14 minutes from Nastevski, and 12 minutes into the second half, Steve Maxwell, playing against his old club, gives his new club 2 very valuable points. The final scoreline here in Adelaide, Adelaide City 1, Marconi 2, and we'll be back with Les Murray after this break.
Sportsfield, the final score here in Match of the Day, 2-1 victory to Marconi, and with me is the Adelaide City coach Zoran Matic and the Marconi captain Tony Henderson. Tony, not an easy game for you, but probably a better result than you expected on the day. I think you probably started off underdogs today.
Yeah, we came down looking for 2 points, but we knew Adelaide City was going to be a very hard game, and we're quite pleased with the outcome actually.
Yeah, when did you feel that you had the game won?
Well, they went 1-0 up. We were pretty confident before that, and as soon as we got the second goal, it was an ideal time to get the first goal, should I say. It was an ideal time to get it just before half time, and we felt at half time that we could probably go on with the game, you know, and probably get it.
Adelaide City are a good footballing side. Did you feel that this was the one game where you had the ability to display your footballing skills as well?
Yeah, well, we knew when we came. We talked about it last night that Adelaide City have always been known for good football ever since '77, and we knew that if we came and we played football, it would be a pretty good game. And if we played all right, we'd get a couple of points.
All right, Tony, thanks for joining us here after the game. Better go in and get that warm shower. Yeah, thanks very much. Okay, Zoran Matic. Zoran, not an easy one for you, and your first defeat of the season. You have been looking well for the first couple of games, and for a lot of the time even today.
It's hard to swallow when you lose in front of your own crowd and first game on our own stadium, but I would say that we will get back. We had a few problems and we still got them. We got too many injuries on our thin squad, but we will get back and we won't disappoint again our supporters when we play next time here.
Given the injuries that you've got, did you realistically expect to win today?
Well, we always expect to win, even before the game. If you ask me, I wouldn't be happy with a draw on our own ground, but we got the problems and we will sort them out. The new players that are coming in, they haven't played this level before, and they need time before they can start producing something for us.
Stevie Maxwell turned out against you for the first time today. He did manage to get the goal that he wanted. How did you see him on his performance today?
Well, he scored the goal that he never scored for us on the direct corner kick or something, and I think there was a bad marking. Whoever had the duty to mark him, I know who was, but I never let public know. I never criticize my players. They're mine and they're best to me. Somebody let me badly down.
Well, Neville Flounders marked him in the first half, but he, of course, went off injured. That must have been a severe blow for you as well.
Well, Neville's removal from defence really indicated that we became confused. Of the chances that Marconi had, we created more for them than with our own mistakes than they created themselves.
Zoran, we enjoyed the football today, and I wish the team luck in the forthcoming weeks. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.